ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce our next international expert, Melissa Hall Gallemore.
Thank you, Ernesto. Good morning. When's the last time you guys went to the dentist? Anybody remember? It's been a while? Yeah. How many of you have a tooth or a few teeth that hurt from time to time? Okay. All right. I want to talk to you guys. I'm familiar with this. We know that we have something that's going wrong, possibly rotting and decaying in our mouth, but we're not going to go to the one person who can solve our problem and end the suffering. Go see the dentist. So I call that living in Neverland. Kind of avoiding the reality or facing the truth of what actually is occurring. And I am very familiar with this. I, too, live in Neverland from time to time. I'd like to tell you about my time in Neverland, if that's okay with you. Is it okay if I share with you a somewhat serious story? Is that okay? All right. So, picture this. Young mom, 2 beautiful little boys, very active little boys, and a husband who's working all the time, but he's building this great life for you. So you grin and bear it, you get through the days, but they look something like this. You're disheveled, and you've got one child pulling on you this way, and another child headed, for the road, and you hope that the car doesn't get him, but you're like, hey, Drew, come back. Come on, let's go this way. Mommy will buy you some French fries. So we do whatever we can to kind of keep them under our control, right? It's hard sometimes with kids. They have a mind of their own. Oh, so exhausted and overwhelmed, at the end of the day, you tuck your 2 precious little boys into bed, and you call it a day. You're like, yes, success. Both safely in bed, sleeping soundly. You wake up to the tug of a little voice that says, Mom, the sun's coming up. I'm hungry. Can you make me something to eat? I'm like, okay, Drew, okay. But be quiet, because Devin he didn't feel good last night, so I've been up with him. Let's go get something. So I got up with my little boy Drew, got him his favorite breakfast, which is beef raviolis. Chef Boyardee beef raviolis. Still to this day, can't figure out if that's actually food or not. So gave him his breakfast, and I sat him down, gave him some crayons, pieces of paper, said, I'm going to be right back. I went to go check on my other son, Devin, who had been sick the night before. I laid down beside him, and I was patting his back to make sure that he would stay asleep. I knew he needed to sleep. I fell asleep, too, because I needed to sleep. And then I woke up, and immediately I thought, okay, something's not quite right. Something's not right. It's way too quiet in the house for Drew to be here. Drew was loud. Drew was that typical little boy who was jumping and clanging and clapping and, anything to make noise, leave a mess. He always had a trail behind him, and I couldn't find him. I ran through the house searching for him. It was just far too quiet, and I knew instantly something was not right. And then I discovered that the sliding glass door was ever so slightly open. So I thought, oh, he's outside. Okay. Drew, where are you? Come on, it's time to come back. Come on, we're not playing hide and go seek right now. This is getting scary. Mommy needs you to come out. Where are you? And then I looked down, and I could see his little footprints just going off toward this really large irrigation canal. Yeah. And my heart sank, and I dropped to my knees, and I said, God, no, please, God, no. But what happened that day is I fell asleep, and my little boy wandered outside and fell into an irrigation canal and passed away that morning while I was sleeping. So the reality of this situation was more than I could bear. So I imagined him differently. I imagined his favorite character was Peter Pan. He used to love to dress up like Peter Pan and give his little brother Devin like kitchen knives that would clink as they played sword fight. They would sword fight. Truth is, I was miserable and heartbroken, and I had lots of people to tell me that it was my fault. Started with my husband, who was away, and asked, how could I let this happen? That was also followed up with the police asking me how I could have let this happen. Then family. And eventually, I just decided it was my fault. That I was the worst of the worst mother, the worst person. And so I ran away to another place where I was happy, and that was my Neverland. It's where Drew was still around, and he was happy and thriving and doing wonderfully well because I didn't want to face the reality of what actually was happening. But I discovered something while I was in Neverland, that things happen by chance or by choice. And sometimes those unintended consequences of these random moments that create our life, they have unintended outcomes. But we always have the choice to choose our destiny. And so I wrote a book, Lessons from Neverland, and where I tell the tale of how I arrived back to the land of the living, where I can happily report that I smile every day. I'm joyous, I'm happy, I'm free. I choose to forgive, I choose to love, and I choose, So I just want to say thank you for all of you for listening, and thank you.